Oh shit! We're stuck on rewind. Let me introduce the movie dicks. Actually, they can introduce them fucking selves. They're dicks anyway. We have with us today
Zach
and Josh.
Oh shit! Oh snap! And of course,
what is your name,
yeah, what's
sir?
your name?
I have no name. I'm part of the Doom generation.
That's me. Yeah.
I belong to the Doom generation. That was a really bad impression of a Richard Hell song called The Blank Generation.
Keep coming back.
It's a perennial tune. It really is.
Generation X, as it were. Which
Yeah.
is,
The best generation. The one everyone talks about.
Sorry.
This was, of
Sorry,
course,
I have a
Josh's
cold.
pick.
Yeah.
No, really, I think just iconic of everything about the Generation X. All the stars of it, all the tropes, just the general...
The tropes.
Just the general milieu of being, I don't know, in Clinton's America in the 90s or something. I don't know. Josh, tell us a little bit about this movie.
All right. Doom Generation. I don't want to get caught up too much in the trivia details because I am a Gen Xer and we're very indifferent toward the details.
I didn't even watch the movie.
Yeah, right. I just, I watched the trailer. That was enough. I understand it now. 1995, set in L.A. Starred Rose McGowan.
Not just
Duvall.
LA, the asshole of LA, which is the San Fernando Valley.
And he chose that consciously. He knew what he was doing. He didn't want any famous landmarks. He just wanted the dirty underbelly of LA. Especially that experienced by the poor, middle class at the time, or poor lower class people at the time in the generation. And then I also had some other people like Xavier, Jonathan. I can't pronounce his last name, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, it was Jonathan Sheck who is known for playing the singer of the band in the movie That Thing You Do.
Oh, really?
Hasn't been much else.
Hey man, can I call you X? Because I can't pronounce all that.
He's about as bright as Beavis and Butthead, and that would be James Duvall's character, but with none of the humor.
There was a little. It makes you giggle.
A little bit, but he wasn't.
He was kind of endearing. And
charmingly stupid.
Yeah.
He wasn't threatening. He wasn't aggressive. He was definitely there, kind of just for wherever the road took them. That's where they went. And this is basically.
I'm just like this chick's sex puppet, bro.
Sometimes it starts out where he can't even. Let's just start from the beginning, right?
All right, go for it, bro.
So it starts with them in the drive-in, correct? They start with them in the drive-in?
No, they're at a goth
club. They're at a goth club. Industrial
goth club. Yeah, and she wants to get out because she's like, this fucking sucks. I think the first word is...
Everything fucking
sucks, dude. This is lame. It's fucking stupid. So they get in the car.
I'm like, oh, that's me, how I feel about this movie.
Exactly. Hey, we'll get there.
Hey.
They get to the car. They go to the drive-in, correct?
Yeah, they go to an abandoned drive-in, and then they are attacked by a... gang of miscreants. Do you know who plays the gang of miscreants?
Is that Skinny Puppy there?
Skinny Puppy, yeah, that's right.
You told me that, and I'm looking at it right now on IMDb. And it's like, oh, and that's a.
Yeah, for those at home, Josh he's a huge fan of the '90s industrial.
Yeah, that's
stuff. We're watching the credits. There was these bands we'd never even heard of that he was like, oh yeah, classic.
Thrill Coco, stuff like that. Yeah.
I've still got a cock ring that fucking Trent Reznor threw off stage one time.
And that's the intro. Back then, you could get a Nine Inch Nails song for $5 for your movie.
Had it been inside Al Jorgensen?
And outside of her, and then back inside of her again.
Well, even before the miscreants attacked them, they were trying to have sex in the car, and he couldn't get it up because he was afraid he was going to get AIDS.
I think this is the first throwback moment too, because that moment very much reminds me of when the nihilists attack at the end of fucking Big Lebowski.
Yeah, very reminiscent.
Yeah, we'll get into the Big Lebowski. There's a lot of references to Big Lebowski, which came a few years later. So I guess that references to this, and we're gonna how this movie is just continuous scenes of references to other directors, and it's just every scene is kind of a different homage to some other director. Is kind of main perception I got.
And it's broken up pretty clearly by certain sections. The sections where they're together, and sections when they're on the road and some crazy shit happens, and then back together in a hotel, then out on the road, crazy shit happens, and back together, and like that's just kind of the flow of the film. And those always have their own feel to them. They introduce new characters that are super crazy that way, you know. So it feels like a lot of little mini shorts, and like within a few days, basically. And this is also very important to note that this is a heterosexual film, not a homosexual film.
Well. Billed as such in the main credits.
In the main credits.
A heterosexual film by George Araki, who is decidedly
very queer. And I think I had some commentary on, was that new? I think it's like a new wave of homosexual cinema.
New queer cinema.
Cinema, that's what it is.
This was only a few years after, My Own Private Idaho and some of these other movies in the 90s when there was these kind of gay vibes, these kind of movies going on. A lot of picking up where John Waters left off is what I saw in some of these scenes.
See, like, I remember watching this movie way back in the 90s, around when it first came out on, like, HBO, with the 11 minutes still intact. And I remember...
Yeah, let's mention that 11 minutes, now that we brought up the beginning credits.
Well,
we're watching this.
Yeah, go ahead.
It has a little title card at the beginning that says, there was 11 minutes that were cut out of the film. In order to get it an R rating or whatever it is they got.
So it would be
quite a lot.
NC-17 or...
Josh remembers some of these moments, other ones we kind of looked up online, but it's very difficult to find even this movie. You can't rent it on Prime. Any DVDs you can find are used. This is a very difficult movie to track down. So the version we were watching was the cut version, sans 11 minutes of more insanity. But still just a crazy enough amount for the bit that we did have.
Yeah. And I don't want
to in about 80 minutes.
I don't want to fill in too much of what was missing because a lot of it came at the end, so I'll get to it as it's needed.
Oh man, so did I.
Oh, shut up. So
we'll get there.
Yeah, real quick. So I just want to talk about real quick too, generally, like my feelings of this movie when it first came out. Like I was saying, it wasn't like, it didn't pop to me as this like sexual manifesto or this commentary on heterosexuality or anything like that. I just thought it was like crazy, man. Like it was just. Like,
you were pulling a James Duvall watching this movie, like, oh wow, it's like. Oh,
because it doesn't really get crazy until after the miscreants come, after they get saved by Xavier, Mr. X, Dr. X, whatever you
some
want to say.
Weirdo, another weirdo with a knife and a dare shirt.
Yes,
he's got a dare shirt.
That's very 90s right there. Like that was the big stoner thing. If you're a stoner, you wore a dare shirt. Because we're just like ironic like that.
Side story, I once had a college roommate who walked around and he had like a really old Dare shirt. He probably inherited it from his Gen X older brother or something. And it was so worn that the D had run off of the bottom text, so it just said "Dare to keep kids off rugs." And he was this dude from Kentucky. He'd be smoking a Marlboro and be like, "Yeah, keep them kids off them fucking rugs."
Boomhauer over here.
Yeah, no, down round rug man.
Would you say the rug really tied the room together nicely?
Pissed on my
rug.
Yeah,
that's why I keep the kids fucking off them, man. But yeah.
But the movie doesn't start.
They're saved by Xavier. Yes. That was where we were.
They have some fun little conversation. They split ways because Xavier's an intolerable cunt, and Rose McGowan's not going to stand for it, so she kicks him out.
Yeah, they let him. He saves him, but then they let him ride in the car with them. They go to get food. They take him to a hotel room. They just keep letting him tag along, even though he's terrible.
No, they don't just let him come along. Remember, they're not together, and then they decide they're hungry, and they go to the Quickie Mart.
Yeah.
And where shoplifters will be shot.
That's true. It's literally called the Quickie Mart.
Yeah, right. So fucking James Duvall loads up on these nasty fucking Quickie Mart, hot dogs, like with all the fixins, and a huge fucking Slurpo. Where he's like fucking like licking the top off it like you do when you first pour it. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's so stoked on it. They get to the counter. It's this Vietnamese shop owner and his entire family, as you know, and you can clearly tell that this is post Rodney King because this motherfucker
got like burns all over his face, like he saw some shit during the riots.
No shit. Yeah, exactly. He is giving zero fucks about any negligence within his store. And these two fucks show up with, like, the Rose McGowan and James Duvall show up with no money on hand. And right behind them is a huge sign that says, shoplifters will be shot.
He also has a shotgun out because he pulled it on Rose McGowan for smoking inside the store. So he's already established that he's like ready to, he'll do whatever it takes to make sure order is in place.
So they're standing there, James Duvall's shaking in his fucking boots, and the Vietnamese guy is like, $6.
And 66 cents.
And 66 cents,
and that's our first drop of the 666. First of many.
Yes. Yeah, so many devil references.
Yeah, well, is it?
Makes
I don't
me
know.
Kinda horny.
We'll talk about that. Because there's so many ways to interpret
Mickey, but
this.
for Satan.
Yes.
And that's when fucking X jumps out of nowhere and fucking grabs the shotgun from behind.
Sick karate moves, bro.
Oh, yeah. Do you know fuck you?
He shows him some faku with the shotgun accidentally going off and blowing the shopkeeper's head clear off his shoulders and straight into the section.
Into the hot dogs. Into the hot dogs,
into
man.
some sort of
it's
food.
like in the midst of like some snacks or something.
I keep seeing lettuce for some reason.
It's like the hot dog station. It's not the ones that James Duvall's trying to snack on.
Yeah.
They're like over by the hot dog prep station.
And they all look at his head for a moment and they're in shock. And then his eyes open, his mouth opens, and green bile spews out. And he starts saying something that's incomprehensible.
$6.66.
Right?
And his 3 kids are standing there watching these 3 little boys.
Mm-hmm.
They watch all this happen. And then his wife comes out, played by Margaret Cho. Sigh.
Very brief part.
And she's screaming. It's just chaos.
That was Margaret Cho?
Yeah, it was Margaret. I know.
That's amazing. I love Margaret Cho.
Well, a lot of cameos in this that we'll get into. A lot of surprise cameos.
I wish I could get into Margaret Cho.
You're the only one.
I got a very, acquired taste.
You have a very specific fetish for chubby Asian women that are kind of funny.
Chubby Asian comedians.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, give me some credit here.
Right. There was air quotes there, guys. Come on. All right. So they flee. They make sure they grab some beer, of course, and the money out of the register.
No, they grab some Mickeys.
Mickeys, yeah.
Mickey's Big Mouths.
Did they grab 3 6-packs?
James Douchebag drops the fucking whatever else, like the Amstel Light or whatever they were carrying. Yeah. So all they've got left is the Mickey's Big Mouths.
Yeah, I want to say there's 3 6-packs just because that would make sense in the film, but I didn't count.
666.
Exactly.
It's just a bunch of packs of Mickey's Big Mouth, which we're all familiar with.
Then when you get the real flow of the movie starts to make sense, where they're in the hotel.
And I don't know, dude. Like, I never got the big mouths because, like, that's too much glass and like just fucking hassle. I just go straight for the big 40.
Yeah.
And just crack the 40 of Mickey's.
Yeah, true.
It's kind of like when you're trying to drink out of an Nalgene bottle.
I think it's a dead giveaway that you're not a real big drunk if you're drinking it not in a 40 ounce. I think that's a big giveaway that you're faking.
I mean, we're even like more sleazy drunks. I personally am a Colt 45 man, but
oh Jesus Christ!
Back then it would have been Old English or King Cobra.
Old English.
Yeah. You need to make a brass monkey out of that. That's the only thing you use old OE for.
Using Sunny D instead of orange juice.
Oh yeah, it's not a brass monkey if you use real orange juice. Come on, doesn't turn it that nice gold color.
I can taste the regret.
Yeah, Steel Reserve. That was my go-to. We're talking cans. Steely can, Steely Dan.
I don't think Steel Reserve existed in the mid-90s, but I could be wrong. 211.
High power.
Yeah, it don't matter.
None of this matters. That's kind of what this movie's about. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, right? Does it not matter? I don't know. We'll get to it. We'll talk about interpretations. I want to kind of jump to interpretations as quickly as possible because there's a lot of ways.
So they go to a motel room with the room number 666, and it's an all bright red hotel room, and the closest. This really reminded me of what was that weird room in Twin Peaks with the dwarf?
Oh yeah,
it reminded me of that. It was a very Lynchian motel room.
Yeah,
I never saw Twin Peaks, but I know what the room you're talking about.
It's been a long time.
Where there's like a horse dancing with you in the moonlight.
And the dwarf talks.
There's a stoplight hanging out like by a tree for some reason.
Yeah,
but that's when They have a little sex scene in the bathroom. James
She's just
Duvall
sitting in the bathtub, and he comes in there, and they bang, and
but he couldn't get it up earlier in the car before Xavier shows up because, quote, he's afraid of AIDS.
He's afraid.
But it's also not like you think they were already together.
Yeah, they were definitely together for a long time. They've established
this is their first time hooking up.
Probably not.
It can't be. It doesn't strike me like they would have waited.
I mean, she's not exactly the let me stick with this winner type of gal.
Well, he's around, and I don't know. I guess she finds, he is very innocent and young, and she just, she's very
bitter. And
she has a mouth on her. I mean, really, what was it she says? Suck my fuck or something like that?
Pre-Donnie Darko with kill written on her knuckles. She's very explicit. Or as they say, aloof. It just depends on your interpretation of her.
I'm pretty sure Rose McGowan in this movie is like a demon who's actually thousands of years old.
Very possible. She could be some kind of succubus that brings out homosexuality.
Just describe what she's like. She wears this black little dress with the little Doc Marten shoes.
And the white socks.
Dyed black hair.
She got that
pale as a corpse with the bright red lipstick.
Yeah. The Mia Wallace.
It reminds me a lot of Christina Ricci and
with less forehead,
some other thing like that. Yeah,
Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
No, that was a what you call
that wasn't.
That was Winona. That was Winona.
That was Winona.
That was the Winona.
Yeah, that was
Winona Ryder. Yeah.
What was Christina Ricci in?
Sleepy Hollow. Other stuff.
In a ditch towards the end.
Yeah. She is an.
I forget how did she die? It was a drug overdose, right? She's dead, right?
Christina Ricci?
No, she's alive.
No.
Really?
Yeah, you're thinking of You're thinking of the girl from that drug addict girl. Oh my god.
Oh, she was in Addams Family. Okay, yeah, that's what it reminds me.
Yeah. She was.
A very Wednesday Addams kind of vibe to Rose McGowan in this movie.
Just
for sure.
Look wise.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
Yeah. So is it
as we kind of see in this movie?
I don't know exactly what happens in the sequence next. All I know is eventually they go to the drive-thru.
Well, X comes back. He sticks around. They all sleep in the same.
He jerks off while they bang in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he tastes
That's the next step.
Yeah. He eats it off his hand, which is another part they did cut out. They are way more explicit in the actual uncut version. Like you semen and all. I do remember that.
And the next part is I think they get hungry again, and they end up at that drive-through.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the Quickie Mart this time. It's like one of those shitty. We're hitting all the '90s stops of an evening, fucked up with your friends
and
driving.
This looks like a Nickelodeon drive-through. It's like very neon green and orange. It looks like something from like a Green Day video or something like. It's just very bright and exaggerated. I forget what the theme is, but it's like a.
I think it's like dinosaurs. Are they?
Yeah, maybe it's a dinosaur. Yeah,
I don't know.
But they order a lot of really shitty food. They get to the drive-through
window. Except for Rose McGowan, who orders a large Diet Coke.
Yeah. She's got to watch her figure,
At which Josh exclaimed, "My kind of gal."
My kind of gal. I have a bit of a Diet Coke issue. We'll get to that in a future episode, future Q&A session.
Yeah, Movie Dick's intervention.
Yeah. Oh no. So
by the way, I'm gonna stop doing bangs after this last Halloween weekend.
Too many.
That's all I'm gonna say.
You got that girl's number. How are you gonna quit banging now?
I don't remember the name of the drive-through guy, so he confused. See, this is the first big interpretation thing of the film,
right? So this recurring trope happens.
Starts at the first of it, yes.
Yeah, where Rose McGowan is supposedly mistaken or recognized, we're never sure which, by random characters throughout their journey through the night.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one is this fucking redneck guy who's working the drive-through window at whatever the hell's bad fast food.
It's called Carno Burger.
Carno Burger.
Yeah. I can see their commercials now. LA Local 1995 commercials.
That was back in the day when the McDonald's fries were still fried in that dirty fucking animal fat.
The good stuff.
Yeah, the good stuff, man. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Used to.
Do you remember back when Burger
stick
King
one of those
didn't
in
have
my
really good
arm
fries
when I was 8?
Oh.
Sorry, what'd you say, Zach?
Oh, I said, do you remember when they had the old fries at Burger King that weren't as good as the ones now?
God,
it doesn't matter.
None of this matters.
None of this matters, Fry Man.
None of this matters. But so the Carno Burger guy believes that she is his long-lost love.
Sunshine, he calls her,
right?
Sunshine.
I don't know who the fuck you are, weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah. He thinks that she is his long-lost lover who's abandoned him. And they drive off, and he comes out with like a shotgun.
Climbs out through the window
with a shotgun.
With a shotgun, which they just casually keep inside this fast food restaurant.
Of course, because
again, post Rodney King.
Los Angeles, post Rodney King.
Yeah.
So this is where I want to get to the question: does he really know her, or is this something else? Is this saying something else? I don't think he knows.
Well, this is
her.
a recurring theme in the movie. I think this happens three different times where someone sees her and mistakes her for their long-lost love. But they always have a different name for her and the situation.
Remember how young she is? And apparently she's been with this homeboy for a long time. She's even told Xavier that. So, at one of the points, she goes, we've been together for a long time.
But she's also not exactly loyal to him, so...
But they've also never had sex, or why would he be worried suddenly about getting AIDS?
True.
I don't... Maybe because he knows she bangs all these other dudes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of his thing. He's kind of into that too.
Yeah, he's just kind of a cuck. That's really what he is.
He is not into it until she's into someone else.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a hypothesis.
He just likes to watch,
And he does at one point. He watches them have sex on the bed, and then in that scene he jerks off instead. I don't think he eats his semen in that one though.
Maybe not. Maybe later. So there's this recurring theme. Let's consider both sides. Okay. So what are the arguments for? Yeah, they do know her.
I have no good argument. Does Zach have a good argument for that? I have it. Or wait, that he does or doesn't?
That he does. He does actually know her.
Yeah, I don't think he knows
she
her.
was his little fucking Miss Sunshine at some point.
I don't think he does. Zach?
She's just a hoe who leads guys on. I don't know.
That is the thing. I think that's the argument. Is like she's been with this guy. What is his fucking name? Anyway?
I can't remember.
James Duvall's
his name is
James
Bartholomew.
Jordan White is the
Jordan.
Oh, Jordan White. Yeah. By the way, we should. Their names are. Her name is Blue.
Rose Blue.
The boyfriend's name is White. Xavier's last name is Red. So we'll get into the very
red, white, and blue
film student,
very
so on the nose,
deep kind of elements of this later on. But blue, white, and red are their names.
There's like Baz Luhrmann levels of subtlety.
Get it right. Well, there's not a lot of subtlety to this, which I don't think there's supposed to be. That's all kind of the point. It doesn't want to be like. I don't know. We'll get to that. So I don't think. So I think remember we had a discussion earlier. Like, what is like maybe these guys represent like masculine approach to heterosexual relationships, though that kind of crumbles a little bit because the second person that recognizes her is a girl.
Played by Parker Posey.
Yeah, Parker Posey. Yeah.
In a fantastic wig.
Great, fantastic wig. And she has a bunch of like BDSM male gay slaves or something. Like they seem very obedient
with samurai swords.
With samurai swords, as happens in LA.
in the valley.
In the valley.
Let's be very specific here.
Fair,
in the valley.
Fair.
This doesn't happen on the west side.
All right. Yeah. True.
This doesn't happen in Pedro.
There's more accuracy to that statement than you know. We'll get to that later.
So the other argument is like maybe they all believe that they see this lost love of theirs in her, and somehow she is just the quintessence of like the one that got away.
Yeah, which I'm more in line to that, though I still think there's like, all right, like there's the way the director I think means for this to be interpreted, and then I think there's the way it actually came out. And I don't know if what he meant is what everyone ends up interpreting.
Well, it sounds like Tristan could be saying that, like, because you guys were both really into Rose McGowan, and Rose McGowan was the hottest thing going back then. So she's in a way like a kind of dream girl or idol. She is the Gen X
the Gen X baby
girlfriend
girl.
You want
the Gen X
personified, and so everybody sees this kind of Gen X muse in her and mistakes that for, I don't know, some lost love they had.
And not just a lost love, but it transforms into a hatred that transcends all hatred fairly quickly.
Yeah.
As soon as she says, "I don't know who you are," leaving the fuck.
They're
alone,
like, "What the fuck?"
Gets dark.
Yeah.
You were brainwashed.
Yeah, but see that is her love.
How could you not remember me?
Yeah.
she's hot because she's just walking around cussing and being unladylike the whole time and just not caring about anything. It just she's so out there, and it's I don't know. I feel like there's some kind of commentary on Gen X in her. The whole movie is Gen X, but I feel like her particularly is just in her outfit, her demeanor, her way of speaking is just.
And if you are a fan of OnlyFans, you'll probably see a lot of this Rose McGowan character out there just being portrayed by like a lot of women and like a lot of young ladies like in their like teens and 20s doing 90s throwback.
Yeah, there's one we know I was discussing with Josh. I won't mention her name,
but obscure to protect the not so innocent. But yeah, like this is the quintessence of like that style and what's now popular again because we're in that throwback fucking fad era now.
Or even a worse way to interpret it is that it had no meaning and he just thought it would be cool if something crazy happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if people just, like saw her and felt like said that, they loved her, but they didn't know each other really.
I mean, that's really the whole movie though, is it seems like it's profound for like someone in high school, where you think your poetry is so deep and amazing and like you listen to a song and it's like, oh my God, bro. And it's really just nothing. And it's something that we've heard 100 times before, and
just like Generation X.
no adult actually gives a shit.
Oh, the self-scathe.
Right? Well, that's X for a reason, right? It's the skipped over generation, the one that's not going to matter. So it's like all the symbolism, like you say, it's very reminiscent, a lot of the styles of other filmmakers, so it's like he can't even have his own film that's not like something else that was better. So it's like he's just kind of skipped over. And this is a heterosexual film.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of messages in here and none simultaneously.
Yeah. I think there's also a case to be made for both. It's like like she because they all call her by different names. Like I think there's something to that where like maybe she did bang all these people and like for a time she was like each of those little pet names and characters for each of them in like a completely different way while still being essentially herself. Like I think they're like this is where we get into the Jungian side of things. It's like she's the anima, the feminine spirit projection of all of these fucking people, where it's like whatever they project out into the fucking world, like they're like this hillbilly guy who's super masculine, and I'll fucking kill anybody who messes with my sunshine, like I give him my sunshine back. They're all really romantic about their delusions about or memories of Rose McGowan's character, and she just is the completely non-romantic type. She doesn't give a fuck about anything. Like she swears constantly and vilely, and has no memory of any of these fucking people. Like there's nothing special about you. Like that's secretly like that's what the spirit of the feminine has become in 90s like culture. It's like romance is completely dead because no matter how much we want it to be that way, what it actually ends up reflecting as is nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Jordan keeps trying to do the right thing. He keeps trying to be this, nice, innocent guy who, takes her out and loves her, does this, and she just wants to, get fucked and just not really show any kind of deeper emotion about anything. She's kind of going along and.
I think a lot of the deeper emotion she has happens after sex too. Like that's when she actually starts to connect with the guys.
Yeah, she gets a little
bit more pillow talk. Yeah, a little playful. Yeah, a little bit more
like oh, little sweeties, my little,
more affectionate,
little teddy bears.
Exactly. And outside that context, she's an ice queen.
Yes,
is angry as hell and judges too much. And she even agreed with Jordan that she wouldn't judge people so much. But then she's like, "Fuck that!" As soon as there's an opportunity to judge somebody.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So they kind of go out into the desert. They go into
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, I'm just saying the guy comes and they have to fight off the guy with the shotgun.
Oh, okay, yeah,
he shows up later on at the motel, and they have to fight him off.
Shoves his shotgun dick into James Duvall's mouth for a cool minute.
Yeah.
And, I don't think they have sex yet, but she's sleeping there in bed with the boyfriend, and Xavier
he whips it out like on the bed.
Oh, that's right.
While the other guy is just laying there asleep, and he doesn't wake up.
They go to the car.
Yeah, they go to the car.
Oh,
and that's when the crazy guy comes with the shotgun.
Which is kind of a throwback to Old Dark House, really.
Go on. How so?
Well, chick shows up with Charles Lawton, right? Like they're together. Like technically, that's like a couple or whatever. Meets the other guy who's like more debonair and doesn't really have a plan for life and doesn't really give a fuck. But he's like down to grab a Vietnamese guy with a shotgun for her.
Yeah.
Like. Or fight off, Boris Karloff, and
exactly.
They go off to the car to get a little fucked up and drunk, and maybe kiss.
Is that inspired by the Old Dark House? You think?
I'm just saying it's a
there were so many
trope in human
Vietnamese in Old Dark House.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
Must be.
I mean, like the let's get away from your boyfriend to go fuck in the car. I think is a 20th century trope. Like I think that's just a trope.
Yeah.
Well, there had to have been cars. Before that, it was the hayloft or
the barn.
Whatever. Yeah.
The covered wagon.
Is that a hay straw on your back, or are you just happy to see me?
Oh.
So now they have to flee. They go kind of out to the desert. The kind of perception I got where they were going to kind of a Palm Springs, Salton Sea kind of area. They go to this bar where there's like tinfoil all over the walls. The whole place is reflective. Really, Tristan brought up it looks like East Jesus, and I agree from the little bits of that I've seen.
All right, it's like if there was a bar between East Jesus and Salvation Mountain.
Yeah, perfect. So and they meet Parker Posey there. So Parker Posey, wearing this wig. So Parker Posey calls her Kitten.
That's right.
Whereas the previous guy called her Sunshine. So. Who knows?
Two names that you don't think would ever be assigned to the Rose McGowan's character. Yeah. She is neither of those things. No. She's not playful, and she is not a ray of sunshine.
Well, what the fuck does Jordan, like James Duvall's character, call her? Like, does he have a little pet name for her? Like
Amy.
I think he just calls her
Amy. Amy. Yeah.
But neither does X.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone just calls her Amy or cunt. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
No pet names involved. So again, this is only reserved for the weirdo characters.
Right.
And then a fight ensues, and then one of the girl. What's the name of the girl?
Parker Posey.
Parker Posey. She apparently has like thugs or guy friends that are all cut and they look gay. They're like dressed like 90s gay stereotypes.
And they have samurai swords for some reason.
Yeah, Parker Posey is just like an extreme fag hag. Like her wig, her just general party demeanor. It's just very. I think that's what Greg Araki was definitely going for, because it's almost kind of a her getup is almost drag like in just how absurd and overtly feminine it is in that kind of very very garish way that you see amongst certain girls who hang out in gay bars.
Yeah, but like she's not the trad fag hag, so to speak, because she's not a straight woman. She's
at least bi.
She's at least bisexual.
Minimally.
Yeah. So it's just kind of a gay bar, I think. Like.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know. Like.
Yeah.
True.
Kitten.
How they ended up in the gay bar accidentally, or Xavier meant for it to happen.
Well, everything in this movie that's gay ends up accidentally. So.
I think all the sexuality here is fluid. It's just fluid. You know, like even the hillbilly guy, like who works at the drive-in, like sticks his shotgun in James Duvall's mouth really sensually. Like I think he kind of gets off on that too. Like he watches a little gay porn and then like fucking slaps the shit out of himself in a mirror afterward.
Well, that was that classic.
We're all just hot spaghetti in the dark. I'm just saying.
The masculine redneck is actually gay. Kind of a Pulp Fiction or Deliverance kind of thing. That trope, it's been overplayed enough times.
Yeah.
Well, gay guy catches it in the dick with a samurai sword, and they're on the run.
Catches a samurai sword in the dick.
Thanks to Xavier, I believe.
And like he's pinned to the fucking pool table, and it's like Parker Posey's like
squirting blood.
Yeah, squirting blood onto Parker Posey.
The handle is sticking out.
Where his cock should be.
Almost as if that's where his hard dick would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that was not deliberate.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously that was deliberate. But yeah,
so they go
after that, I'm
again.
kind of faded. Yeah.
Times like this, I think we would make a great band of samurai because, like, you know, we know how to handle one of those fucking things. Hey, that fucking handle, right? Hey. Oh.
Yeah, that scene a little bit reminded me. Have you ever heard of a 6-string samurai?
Sounds familiar, but
it's this post-apocalyptic wasteland where a guy dressed like Buddy Holly walks around with a samurai sword fighting people. And at the end, he fights, I think, Elvis.
That's
very low
awesome.
budget, but a great kind of low budget, ridiculous B movie. Everyone go check out.
Is that going to be your pick for next week?
Maybe now.
I'm just saying
that wouldn't be a terrible choice. Now that I think about it, we'll come around to that one eventually. That's
the next 25 minutes.
TBD.
Yeah. So they go to another motel room. This one, the first one was David Lynch. This one is clearly Tim Burton. It's got these the chessboard, this checkerboard pattern. It's black and white. It looks like the kind of underworld from Beetlejuice a lot.
Yeah.
And every inch of this hotel room is black and white.
Yeah, it's all checkerboard, fucking, like, two-tone shit going on.
I'm blacking out on what happens in this hotel.
So Jordan goes out to get food or do something, and Xavier and Amy start hooking up. He comes back, the window is wide open. He can see inside while they're having sex. And
you finally, total confirmation that, like, Jordan knows that she's fucking around on him. And he's saying shit. He's fine. Yeah. He gets a little hard.
Yeah.
He kind of sad boy beats it outside the window.
Well, we haven't even mentioned this at this point. The whole movie is just this kind of sexual tension between Jordan and X. And both of them are like two... You know, they're afraid to say it. They're afraid to let anything happen. Like, it seems like, you know, X is, he's way too manly man to ever be with another man, but clearly he kind of wants it. And actually, the perception with Jordan is he doesn't even understand he's like a kid where, you know, when you're a really little kid, you find out that gay people exist, and it just doesn't even make sense.
But your uncle's already got his pants down, so you're like, oh, I guess this is happening.
To me? Yeah, he's not a girl, and I'm not. So why would another? He doesn't even understand, you know, this tension between him and X.
Even though X is constantly like fucking leaning on him, like fucking, you know, James Dean against a fucking wall, you know, like.
He tries to give him the pet name of Nutlicker, things like that. Yeah,
like his little sex dog. He's constantly got his fucking boner pressed just into his thigh. He's
always leaning right up against his ear, right on him. He's always much closer to him than he is to Amy. You know,
until he's fucking inside
Amy, that's almost kind of an afterthought. It's like, yeah, I'll take her, but clearly he wants Jordan.
Yeah, this was really just my quick scheme to get into him.
Yes. She is the bridge to his butthole.
Second base and third.
Oh, no.
And then they all go home together.
Happily ever after, and the movie ends there. What did you guys think?
Yeah,
actually,
I mean, just to bring this home, fucking, we were talking about this like sexual tension between like Jordan and X. This whole movie, we're like, it's a heterosexual film, but like the whole ploy, I think, is Iraqi trying to build this tension so fucking hard that like by the end of it, you're just like, God, you guys just please fucking fuck each other, please. Oh my God, I've never wanted two guys to fuck so hard in my life.
Yeah,
right. By the end of it, all three of us were cheering them on, like, "Come on, guys,
get it in there!" Yeah.
That's the trick. There's never been a movie where there's, you know, a hot girl, but all you want is for the two guys to bang. That's all you want to see.
By the end of it, yeah.
I guess in that way, the film was a success.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Because now I am 100% homosexual.
And then the next day, they go to the record shop. Is that what happens?
Yeah, they go to a record store, and they're looking through all these classic 90s albums, This Mortal Coil, It'll End in Tears, and... By the way, Jordan is wearing a Ministry shirt pretty much the whole movie.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there. And the soundtrack itself was, was it very 90s industrial, Jesus and Mary Chain and such.
A lot of Jesus and Mary Chain in this one.
And then what else happens? But she is once again mistaken, this time by a very... these guys, I don't know, they're kind of like 80s... movie high school jock villains, they're
right. They're like they're the jocks from like the 80s movies of yesteryear. Yeah.
And he mistakes her for Bambi, so he calls her Bambi, and once again she doesn't know who they are, and then he gets a little handsy. So then they kick X's ass, and they but then they manage to flee. They manage to flee to an abandoned warehouse, and finally it happens. They have a threesome. She's the
she flips the coin.
Yeah, she's the meat in the sandwich. That's all we'll say.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. I think Jordan's the meat in the sandwich.
Yeah, true.
Because X is kind of on top of him, like while Jordan's inside of Amy, and you can't really tell who he's penetrating.
Yeah, again, maybe if we'd had the extended cut, we would know, because Josh has already told us a few things. Like there's Josh, tell us about the tattoo.
Oh, well, there's a little story where he shows
Xavier
Xavier shows Rose or Amy Blue his penis, and he has a tattoo on it, and it's a tattoo of Jesus. And that way he can have this pickup line of, do you want Jesus inside you? And then he can pull out his dick and be like, nice. Like a religious experience. And that was his big thing there. There's another scene they cut out there in the end there where he actually the guys finger each other. So, yeah, that was missing.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Yeah. I think that one should have stayed.
Yeah, see, that would have
so the whole bit with the tattoo is lost, because the version we watch, you just watch him, she sees his tattoo, but you don't see the tattoo, or you never find out what it is. So
she mentions it, nice tattoo, and that's all you get.
Yeah, and then it just goes to whatever it was next. So
yeah, which makes no sense, obviously, in the film.
Yeah.
But
as they're they're all hooking up in this warehouse, suddenly some kind of strobes start going off, and we see who else but the gang from earlier, and they're all naked with swastikas spray painted on their chest, and they've got long tube socks, a la the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, and they rape Amy and fucking
castrate. Right?
Yeah, they rape Amy on top of the American flag.
Yeah, on top of the American flag. So at this point, we're completely done with any kind of subtlety in this movie.
Yeah.
We literally have neo-Nazis raping a woman on top of the American flag.
But here's the other throwback to Big Lebowski, where they've got the fucking garden shears.
Yeah, they've got the
nihilist inside of Jeffrey Lebowski's dream when he's fucking tripping on fucking GHB.
Yeah, when he's listening to the Kenny Rogers song. Yeah.
Well, no, that was Bob Dylan.
It's Kenny Rogers, his band, whatever it was.
Fight.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. That just dropped in, see what? Yeah, that was Kenny Rogers' band that he was in before he was.
Before it all gets nightmarish. Like first he's like it's all groovy and he's fucking bowling, but then he like ends up plummeting into hell, and like you've got the nihilists with these skins like black vinyl skin suits, with the garden shears all snipping. We got your Johnson.
Instead of German nihilists, it's American capitalists.
Yes.
We're looking to commit the
real Nazis.
The real Nazis. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
nihilists don't believe in anything, man. They're just
hippies. Don't you know about National Socialism, at least it's an ethos.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, so
that's the end.
So some of this was removed. I'm looking this up now, but yeah, they do castrate Jordan, but in the uncut version, They put his severed dick into his mouth.
Yes. Yeah.
If you like dick so much.
Oh, by the way, did you guys? There was a story that came out about this gay couple, the really nice gay couple, who live in who like rent out a cabin that's for like the LGBT community out in like Kentucky or some shit, and they castrate people. They're called eunuch makers.
Oh God.
They offer this free castration surgery for like people who want to do transition and stuff like that.
Okay.
But when they are done turning your ball sack and nuts into like a cat butthole, they save the parts and make it into sausage.
Oh.
Go ahead and look up eunuch makers, and if anybody's a fan of the last podcast on the left, this is a side story from that. But yeah,
it sounds like a Netflix miniseries in the making.
Oh God, eunuch makers.
Yes, I could see
let's
that.
get Wes Craven on the phone. Dude.
Yeah, just make it a couple of teenagers, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
All the kids will love it.
This is real.
This is a real thing. This was a real story. These guys actually exist, and they're self-titled cannibals. But they castrate people only consensually. Like, these people want this done to them, but they get to keep the parts and turn it into sausage so that they can fucking be cannibals.
Eat them.
Yeah.
Well, they say not to watch how the sausage is made.
Nope. Yeah. But yeah, no. Jordan is getting it. No sausage at all. No spices. Just straight penis into the mouth. Post castration.
Well, it was the second time in a few minutes.
Oh!
Then Amy breaks free. She gets the guarding shear. She kills the Nazis, and Jordan's dead.
Yeah, Jordan dies, and then like it's just her and X, and like that's her new boyfriend now, I guess.
And they just take in the back seat.
Another fucking cuck.
They hit a dog. Yeah, they hit a dog and.
They drive off. Roll credits.
They hit a dog.
And X decides to kill the dog with the knife.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't remember. He says something. He has like some final little thing about how easy it is or something.
I think the killing of the dog happens before the rape scene. The rape and murder
happened
scene.
After. I thought that was the very final drive off. You might be right.
It's just them driving at the end.
Is it just them driving at the end?
Yeah, because Jordan is still with them, where he's like, oh my God, like, oh, the dog, oh no.
Okay, you're right.
It's sort of like
it's just both in the desert during the day.
Yeah. It's like the Death of Innocence scene, basically. Where they're like, oh no, like, actually something that isn't human, something that Rose McGowan's character's cold fucking Ice Queen heart can actually fucking care about and, like, is too squeamish to handle. Like that's the end of it, and X fucking kills the dog, and then that pretty much spells death for Jordan, who's like
the old John Wick.
Yeah.
yeah. which as everybody knows, James Duvall is the dime store Keanu Reeves.
They look so much alike.
They do.
And they sound so much the same.
So much the same, bro. Yeah. I get to see Keanu Reeves in this film, honestly.
Except
I wonder if they... Yeah, except what?
Except like James Duvall is sort of like a fucking like a child lost in a fucking department store, like in his delivery, where like Keanu's sort of a mystic. Like,
it doesn't even seem like he does drugs. He's just a kid.
Yeah, there's a very little amount of drugs in this. Honestly, there's some drinking. I don't think there's any weed.
Yeah, they only drink beer too. It's just like having a few beers.
No liquor. Yeah.
No.
This is not like a drug-fueled nightmare.
No.
It's just a nightmare.
A lot of cigarettes.
And James Duvall, for those who don't know, he's known most for he was Randy Quaid's son in Independence Day, but also he played Frank Unmasked in Donnie Darko. You see him in the movie theater.
The director's cut only, right?
Yeah.
No, I think that's in all the versions.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm seeing it with just one eye.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it. Yeah.
So his best role by far.
I mean, yeah.
Standing around being really creepy. That's great for a childlike person to like.
Well, no, we also established he was in SLC Punk. I know you like that.
Oh yeah, as John the Mod, right? He like sells acid to what's his face.
He seems like he's into these generation cult style films for sure. He's like.
Well, because he was a poor man's, Keanu Reeves. They could get, Keanu Reeves for cheap.
Yeah. That's fair. He got somewhat of a career out of it.
Well, you can't even get Alex Winter.
I swear to God, we're gonna do fucking the next Bill and Ted movie. It's gonna be on the roster. I swear to God, it's down the line.
Well, it's funny because this week Alex Winter actually directed a Frank Zappa documentary that's supposed to be amazing that comes out this week.
Oh,
so
shit!
I'm definitely gonna be watching that pretty soon. I'm a huge fucking Frank Zappa fan.
He was at the premiere of the new Bill and Ted movie. He's like next to this fucking director. He's like, or this producer. He's like, dude, let me tell you about this sick documentary that I've been thinking of making about Frank Zappa. They're like, well, fucking right. Yeah, he's got the show. All right, fine. We'll give him a few $1,000s.
It's just a few thousand.
Go crazy, kid.
All right, so before we give any of our final thoughts or anything like that, I'm just curious on what you guys think about the symbolism. Is it too obvious? Is it too nonsensical? Is it too film studenty?
Yeah, it's really
all
is
of
it
the
too
above.
much tied
it's
to
really
its generation?
Film studenty. This is like every scene is like, oh, John Waters was cool. Let's do that. Oh, Tim Burton was cool. Let's do one of the big criticisms of this at the time, not necessarily warranted, but this came out I think the year after Natural Born Killers, and it got probably unfairly a lot of comparison of that film. People said it was a ripoff, stuff like that.
There was very much not alike. Like they were on a totally different journeys in Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, well, it's really more just like,
these
serial killers on
innocent.
the road, the guy and the girl. Yeah, it's a very surface level comparison, but that was a lot of this movie was surface level. You watch it and you go, wow, there's got to be something really deep there that I haven't thought about. And then you think about it and you're like, no, there's really it.
Do you feel the same way, Tristan? Well, I have my feelings. I can't wait to share.
I'm looking forward to see what you have to say about this, Joshua. But, okay. This was John Waters, like, without, like, the glorification of trash. This is just, like, sort of everything is trash.
John Waters is happy.
Yeah, he's happy.
Hope.
Yeah, no, the trash of culture is his joie de vivre. Like, he glorifies trash culture. He's the Pope of trash because he makes it holy. He sanctifies it. Like, our awful American culture is actually beautiful in its own way. But yeah, with this, it's just like, no, everything is trash and it's a bleak existence and like there's nothing here. There's no beauty. There's nothing to be happy about. It's like Tim Burton aesthetically in some places without the artistic craftsmanship that goes into a Burton film, where like he makes all these models and like every fucking scene and sets and like costumes.
Danny Elfman.
And yeah, everything is crafted from this crazed artist's mind and like mind blowing. There's none of that craftsmanship here. A little bit.
I disagree with that.
All right,
there's no craftsmanship. It's just always borrowed.
Yeah, it's all borrowed.
That's what I want to get to.
Yeah.
Like, look, I'm gonna do mine.
So last thing. I'm sorry. I'll be right.
Okay.
I'm almost done. The last point is that it's like Natural Born Killers aesthetically, but the characters have no rhyme, reason, purpose, mission, and the movie itself has no greater message that really drives home in the way that it's like something like Natural Born Killers does, where it's like violence will overtake us because you refuse to understand and reintegrate these people into society and have like sympathy for them. Like there's no sympathy for these characters. They just are who they are.
Yeah, it's almost like some of this very kind of surface level political critique nowadays is just like, wow, it's all like modern day Nazis are bad and America is like white supremacy, and then they fuck on the flag and they're Nazis, and it's just like, yeah, I remember when I was 16, like, yeah.
Like, well, I mean, maybe we take that for granted too. Like, maybe this was a lot more mind blowing back in the day, where they could be really upfront about, like, yeah, those guys that you see like as the heroes of all those 80s films, like, this is what they're actually like. They're just fucking fascists. I don't know.
Yeah. I could see that too, and I think that would take away from it if that was the interpretation you'd have. Like, the way I see it, like, the 90s was the end of originality. It was remakes and sequels.
Yeah. And
taking from the past and trying to make it new again.
The beginning of that, because we're doing that still.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he was conscious of that, and that's where you get a lot of the borrowing. It was very explicit, and it was like, there's nothing new under the sun anymore. We've topped out. Yeah. So now we're just going to make the same thing over and over again. It's going to be the same type of crap over and over again, spoon-fed to you. Like, there's no plot. And that was like, this is definitely like, I think the director disagrees. He doesn't see this as a bleak film, but it comes off as very bleak. Like, there's no point in it. And a little bit of point that you do find, it's just between like them realizing their sexuality.
Yeah.
And once it's realized, then it's all over for them anyway.
Yeah.
So especially for the Jordan character, as soon as he realizes he's bi, he gets castrated and fed his own dick. You know, so like as soon as you have
symbolically by the fucking jock like Nazi fascists.
Exactly.
Like,
and as soon as you figure something out, as soon as you figure out something about yourself, we're going to take it and use it against you. Ooh. So we're going to take the most powerful thing you have that you just learned about yourself, and now we're going to choke you with it. Take that, you know, you who wants to stand out. And mix this.
Yeah, choking you with your own dick.
Exactly.
Really on the nose. Really on the nose.
Really on the nose.
Well, I guess the point is you can do anything you want, just don't be gay. That's how you get AIDS, you know?
That's how you get AIDS.
And how dare you spite, you know, romantic love by saying, I don't fucking remember who the fuck you are. So that's good. But she gets away with it, though. She gets out of it. She eventually, she fucking kills those bastards.
True. She's the hero. She because in the beginning, all throughout the movie,
there are no heroes because it's Gen X.
Yeah, true.
I mean, she is sort of the divine feminine here. Like, this is what femininity has had to resort to as a result of over romanticizing relationships, as a result of like.
Not to mention, not to cut you off. I'm just having this thought real quick where it's like very pro-homosexual. He doesn't want to throw women under the bus necessarily.
Yeah. No.
And be like, they're just used for this. Like, she had a role outside of sex, too. Yeah. You know, I'm sure that was somewhat specific. Because it was very much, you know, I'm sure him and his life, his day-to-day is a lot more interested in men being gay, you know?
Yeah.
So.
She's just kind of perennially bored. Like, she's just looking for something to do.
Mm-hmm. And killing, apparently, she thinks is something she wants to do, right? I mean, she writes "kill" on her knuckles.
I don't think it's really like,
She wants to kill something. She doesn't know what.
Yeah.
There's like a war that's going on, and she can't quite identify it.
Yeah. I guess there's anything that pisses her off, you know?
True. First thing that she judges is negative.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of the stuff that you like criticize, I think he knew. I think he was self-aware about it. And you know, in the 90s, anything that was this bizarre stands out.
Right. And it did stand out at like Sundance, like that.
Yeah,
was,
I'm
like,
sure it did.
One of those movies that's like, whoa, okay, I'll remember that.
Like yeah, it's not a hero's journey in a traditional way. It's not any tip. Like, and all of its tropes are belligerent and very out there. You know, everything. Even the swastikas are painted on the chests, you know, and everything is very upfront. It's very naked in what it's doing.
Also echo into American History X.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, this would, again, like similar to Old Dark House, like in terms of like classic of like standard fictional plots, this is another voyage, right? It's like there is no hero's journey, so to speak. It's just these characters who start off in this car and like just go through the night and what happens to them. Like, it's just a voyage.
It's a road trip movie, but it has no destination.
Yeah, exactly. Where are we going? We don't care.
It's Gen X on the road.
Yeah.
And all the shit we have to put up every day, day in, day out. Is there any final thoughts you want to throw in, or do you guys ready to do a rating?
I mean, I'll just briefly throw out, there was a lot of cool little cameos. Who I missed. We already mentioned Skinny Puppy and Parker Posey, but there's a few different times when they go to convenience stores. At one point, Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction is the clerk, and another time, Heidi Fleiss.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Very famous celebrity prostitute in the 90s.
Yeah.
So.
Famously referenced in a Kid Rock song.
And the funniest one for me, Christopher Knight, who played Peter Brady on the Brady Bunch, was a
newscaster.
Was a TV anchor man.
Yeah, love it. So you get these weird.
There's all kind of little things like that you might miss that you can catch on repeat viewings, and it's just kind of cool little fact like that.
Yeah, even the minor roles were filled with somewhat pseudo celebrities, washed up celebrities, or upcoming celebrities.
very slowly upcoming in Margaret Cho's case.
Very slow, yeah. She kind of came later. And I don't think she lasted long. I don't know her career, very honestly.
She's still going.
Is she still going?
Yeah,
She was like a lesser Janine Garofalo.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
But she's lasted longer than Janine.
I don't think so.
Well, she had a fucking stand-up special on Netflix not long ago at all. Yeah. Yeah, no, she's still
interesting little side note. Rose McGowan's father didn't talk to Rose McGowan for a year after his film was made, and he threatened to kill the director.
Holy fuck!
Because of the explicit sexual nature.
Yeah. By the way, this is one of it. It's not an official trilogy. The same characters don't show up, but the guy who directed this, Gregor Rocky, this was part 2 of his teen apocalypse trilogy, and the one before it was called Totally Fucked Up, and the one after that was called Nowhere, and James Duvall shows up in all 3 of them. So if you're a fan of this, go check those ones out.
Yeah. So what? There is one thing that I don't think we've really dove in.
Dove sounds good. Delved.
Let's say delved. Completely different word.
Way fancier.
Yeah, it's way fancier. And appropriate for this, because what does the devil have to do with this shit? Is it just is he just a red herring, or is what does the satanic imagery actually have to do with any of this shit?
Is there a devil?
Is there a devil?
God,
is Rose McGowan the devil?
True. Is she the devil's daughter?
Lilith, right?
Yeah,
she is a Lilith for sure.
Lilith style character.
So what does the 666 have to do? They're engaged in a devil's threesome. Hey.
That's right.
2 horns. That makes it a devil's threesome.
Maybe it's this. I want to say this is during the earliest days of the apocalypse, and it's that's just a way that it stands out to us. Maybe that's why everyone's going crazy. I don't know. It seems very crazy for everyone to act the way they are. So something's going on. So maybe this is the kind of apocalypse. So
that's kind of part of what I wanted to get into with you, Josh, because you're the resident Gen Xer of the podcast. This came out in '95. What were you guys so pissed off about? I mean, Tristan and I were little kids, so we were good. But really, looking back, compared to this is. By the way, we're recording this the day before the presidential election in 2020. I'll just throw that out there.
Yeah, just before the apocalypse.
Yeah. So what was it in '95 what was up with your generation that was so bad and that you really wanted to rebel against so badly? This is something I've never.
What was your generational woe?
Yeah. What was the source of it? I think we all just wanted to go our own way because we weren't invested in the future of the United States. We had no access to the stock market. There's no property left to buy. Our parents made less money than their parents, and we were going to make less money than our parents.
Oh, so same.
There was really, it's just a delay of a decline of growth and a lack of foresight into anything getting better, especially with teen angst involved. So it's just kind of doom and gloom, screw it, burn it all down and start over sort of thing.
And the educational system was really going downhill by the early 90s across the country.
Big time. And it's very it was very controversial on what to teach people, how to teach people, all these tests and the sort of testing that.
And then you got the religious moral majority into the situation, trying to fucking get rid of edgy
that was a big
arts
thing
and
too.
English books and fucking censorship.
Exactly. So you have there's a lot more religious friction with the secular aspect of society. So you had churches influencing political parts of the country, and trying to put prayer back and blaming all the problems. There was satanic panic. Dungeons and Dragons is evil. It's easy to alienate, yourself from those people when everything you like is being considered evil.
Right.
So it's everything you like is bad, and we're gonna fight against it.
So it's
we're all proper.
So maybe
but you're not even going to fight against it. You're going to.
We're not even going to take part. Yeah, we're going to do our own thing. That's the best way to fight it is to ignore it, because at the end of the day, it had no real power.
But it seemed like even the doing your own thing was not doing anything.
That was fine. That was inevitable. No one has answers in any case.
So it wasn't even a fight. It was just simply your entire game is not valid.
Well, I think this is actually exactly where the devil enters into it. Like, this is a demonization of a generation. It's like, you guys are the fucking devil. And
yes,
and I think and they even
the
George
Doom
Iraqi,
generation.
Yeah, he makes it a very clear thing. Like, after they get out of the Quickie Mart, like, really they just didn't have $6 on them.
Yeah.
And they end up as like devil worshipping pariahs because they left behind a fucking skull ring.
Also, we forgot this. Amy is being hunted by the FBI.
What? Bitch, are you for real?
Do you remember the one scene where they're in that boardroom? It was kind of like a Max Headroom 1980s thing. And then it's revealed that the FBI found the ring and they know who she is. And then the head FBI guy orders them all to kill her. So the government is now after her.
Which they never follow up on that plot line.
They never follow up on it. Unless there's I don't remember that in the 11 minutes that was cut out. So it's possible something was mentioned later. But still, I have no memory of that being...
Okay, this is all coming together for me now. Like,
okay.
Because this is another trope in the film where it's like every time she spurns one of her old lovers, or people who think they're her old lover, they swear that they're gonna fucking kill her. And same thing happens with the FBI. So it's like, in my mind, Rose McGowan's character, she is the divine feminine, like the spirit of Gen X, like in its beauty, right? Is like
its most aesthetic.
Yeah, it is demonized. Yes. Like it's like we are demonized. We are called devil worshippers. Hence, we will become the devil. Like we will play the role that you fuckers are forcing upon us. Just because we don't have $6, we're gonna end up killing this guy. Just because I don't remember who the fuck you are. You're gonna try and kill me. So it's like I don't know. So it's like it's this story of this slim ray of hope in the form of Rose McGowan's character, who's just a girl who doesn't give a fuck and likes to do what she wants to do. She gets away from all these people who are trying to kill her, so that's like she's like the hope of the Doom generation in this weird way.
I like it. I think that brings it all together.
Yeah,
because I think like the attitudes of the generation, especially the demonization.
It's pretty good, right?
That was very. I mean, that was incredibly true though. Like take video games for example. This is like Mortal Kombat era, and you have like Twisted Sister going to to Congress to testify.
Oh man, can we get
Frank Zappa?
Can we get the Mortal Kombat theme on the outro for this one?
Yes, let's do it. God, I'm just gonna remax that. Do it again.
Fatality.
Finish
Mortal
Kombat. Doing it. I'll edit that down.
Dude, as soon as all this fucking COVID bullshit is over, I just can't wait to fucking, pay a good, $20 to $30 for like me and some friends to go and fucking get our goddamn laser tag on and fucking tell that guy to blast fucking Mortal Kombat as top volume.
What year is this? 19.
I thought you were about to say something like going to an arcade. It's like, where are we going to do that?
I'm sure one exists.
We were talking about this Camelot. Does that still exist?
Yeah.
Is that around?
They closed for a good local reference, the Redondo Fun Factory.
R.I.P.
They closed that.
Yeah.
Very sad.
But I mean, there's still actually Mulligan's. Mulligan's actually still has.
I thought they were weren't they supposed to? No, Mulligan's closed in like February.
Wait, like permanently?
Yeah, that was announced like last year. That was announced like summer of last year.
Oh my god,
that was announced a while ago.
Fuck. That last year was literally the last time I will ever go to fucking Mulligan's. That's so sad.
I know. That was every freaking party when we were kids, playing mini golf, and
it is the fucking apocalypse.
666.
The Fun Factory's closed. Mulligan's is closed. They closed one of the Boomers locations recently. Yeah.
Oh Christ, I'm fucking sad now. Let's end this fucking shit.
But now there's like these hipster video game bars up in like
I like
those.
They're fun if you like to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah, we all do. A lot.
Oh god.
Anyway.
Let's go ahead and edge our way around this elephant.
Yeah. Who wants to start with the rating? I'll do your guys' rating. You guys do 1 out of 10, so Whoever wants to. I guess I pick, so I'll go last or first.
All right, hit it, Zach.
Zach.
Honestly, I'll give it an 8. It was
holy shit.
That was way higher than I was expecting. After all the shit you said.
That is groundbreaking.
Well, no, I know. Like, I know. I just talked a bunch of shit about these pretentious film student movies.
Well, we're movie dicks. I mean,
but that's the kind of stuff I like. That's the kind of stuff I would do. I would do these, these just pretentious, this kind
in
of
your
stuff.
Face.
Callbacks to all the greats.
Yeah, I'm like a faux artist. I'm like the Brian Griffin trying to pretend he's
right
at the speed of love.
Very deep when in fact it's just
it's just about getting laid.
He read Catcher in the Rye and thought it was great. I didn't actually like Catcher in the Rye, but there's other stuff like that.
He should have fucked that prostitute. That's all I'm saying. He just should have fucked the prostitute. It would have made it a
very progressive transgender relationship.
He should have just let the teacher molest him. He was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the movie itself, like it kind of did stick with me more than we watch a lot of interesting stuff on this podcast, but even though I really forgot a lot about what the plot was and what happened in specific parts,
there was a plot.
Yeah, exactly. It just stayed with me because it was, I'm really glad Josh kind of singled this one out because it really, if you could kind of distill a generation into a movie,
it's pretty close.
This would be one of the Clerks too.
Very
Clerks
close.
Also, yeah. But
Clerks.
this would kind of that nihilistic raw edge.
Because remember, like
shock value
in the original Clerks, Dante gets fucking shot in the end.
Yeah.
The original cut, he fucking gets shot by a fucking,
It ends with it getting robbed and him just being dead.
Yeah, and he wasn't even supposed to be there today.
Yeah. So I mean, just in terms of how it kind of made me felt like I really want to go track down that director's cut version now, but
I want to watch the sequel and prequel. I mean, I picked this movie. Now I haven't even seen those, or if I have, I totally forgot I did.
Yeah, I want to go a couple old. More Gregoraki, and I want to see if his other stuff is, if it's also just references, because that would confirm your theory, Josh, of whether he was purposely pushing references or if he just always does that.
Right.
So,
true.
Yeah, I'd say I'll give it an 8 because it's definitely memorable and it'll stick with me. And this is one of the movies to watch where I really want to go tell people about it because it's like, hey, this is not like anything you've seen in a while or will see again for quite some time. And it's
exactly.
Well,
this movie cost $800,000 and only made less than $250,000, so it's completely forgotten.
And it's impossible to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, legitimately.
Yeah, legitimately. Whistling innocently. Tristan, what did you think?
Oh man. I mean, well, part of the allure for me with this movie is like, I'd never seen this before, and yet it does have all these vibes of like, movies around that time, like Clerks, like Natural Born Killers, like, but it's so in your face about a lot of shit. It seems so meaningless, and yet we scratch the surface a little bit, and like there is this fucking underlying message or voyage or meaning to the symbols that are being utilized, even though I think they're actually hidden beneath the shock value. Like that's an intentional, like if we're assuming that's an intentional like plot on Araki's part, that's kind of brilliant. Like I give it a solid 7.5.
Ooh.
I don't want to get to the full 8.
See, I was going to do whole numbers, but I was around 7 or 8. So,
yeah. Give it a 7.5. Solid 7.5. Rose McGowan. Oh.
Perf straight nude.
Yeah. I mean, as long as she's not talking. That's just
suck a fuck, Tristan.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my god, all right, fine. Like, I fucking.
For me, this was like a little gem back in the day. One of those movies you saw and had to tell people about. So it had that early like novel feel to it. You didn't really get with a lot of films. Straight in your face, nudity, insane violence. The unedited version superior, especially for the crazy imagery in it.
And a heterosexual movie that makes you want to see two dudes fuck. That is brilliant.
Exactly. Very well done. Hats off to you, sir. Yeah. I agree with Zach. I'll give it an 8. I don't want to go crazy. and I don't want to like give it not props because I think there's a lot of room for discussion for it.
I think this is the most highly rated film we've watched among us.
Are you saying this is better than Zardoz?
How dare
what Tristan was saying is like, we really
suggest?
dug into it and there's deeper stuff. It's like, this is definitely deeper than Zardoz. We can say that.
It's definitely deeper. And Zardoz has some depth. We can find depth in anything.
Oh, but by the way, R.I.P. Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
You gotta say that.
So. What?
I should end it. I'm going to end this episode.
You bastards know I cannot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Tristan was away. He's part Pacific Islander. He was on his Pacific Island this week. And, I guess you didn't hear that, Tristan. Yeah, he died on Halloween.
That's fucking preposterous.
I'm going to end this episode with a clip from Sean Connery. How about that?
I'm going back to my space plot.
No, okay, you got to end it with the clip where he's talking to Barbara Walters about how it's okay to hit a woman every now and then.
You read my mind. I'm cutting what you just said out.
Maybe that should be the ending audio.
Yeah, exactly.
The outro.
Yeah. I'll do it with your song with Sean Connery defending hitting women.
And then just hit the Mortal Kombat!
Finish her.
Yeah. How would you like a nice smack in the mouth?
Or the scene from was it Goldfinger, where he's just sitting there and he's like, "All right, babe, man talk," and he smacks her and she just walks away. So many good things like that, dude.
I'm gonna cry now.
Yeah, you didn't. Oh man, you didn't hear about that, did you?
No, that was so.
Yeah, he died. He died on Saturday.
Fuck, dude. Wow.
Oh, so Zach, it's your turn to.
Yeah, so
it is the fucking apocalypse. I'm sorry.
It is the apocalypse.
Yeah,
Can't do it.
Now that your last living messiah has been sacrificed, I shall bring the apocalypse upon you.
Yeah, we had we had Halloween weekend. The eve of the apocalypse is upon us as tomorrow falls November 3rd, 2020.
Fuck so everything.
We'll see if we're coming back next week. I don't know. We might.
I'm gonna be sitting outside my house with a loaded gun.
Yeah.
Ready to kill myself. I'm not gonna.
Well, but no. Now we've learned that even if your head gets shot off, it'll still keep screaming in Vietnamese, so everything will be okay.
I was wanting to learn Vietnamese.
That's the only way to learn.
So, yeah. So it is my pick this week. I don't know. I was kind of conflicted on whether we should keep with the kind of the Halloween horror thing, but then I realized I'm not really a horror guy, but there's still a lot of Halloween adjacent directions we can go in.
Yeah, this was was not a horror film. It was just horrifying.
No, but it was in many ways more of that kind of spirit of Halloween than a lot of other things. So I'm going to kind of stick with this. This is not a Halloween or horror movie by any means, but it is a
Six String Samurai. No,
Six String Samurai is a good one. But this is a very grindhouse film. Grindhouse being a keyword from 2011.
Oh yeah,
starring Rutger Hauer. It's Hobo with a Shotgun.
Oh yeah, all right. I should have seen this coming.
Yeah, no, that's good.
That's good. We'll have a lot to talk about.
I've been wanting to see that too. So
because Tristan and I have been talking about it a lot around you, and I know you haven't seen it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh hasn't seen it.
I haven't seen it. Yeah,
that's right. So,
oh, dude.
And I only saw it when it came out, but I saw it in theaters. So
this guy's a fucking hero that we need in these trying times.
Rutger Hauer, Hobo with a Shotgun.
That's amazing.
What the fuck else was Rutger Hauer in?
He was the guy in Blade Runner, the guy like, I've seen the moons of.
Oh my god! Right. Yeah, he's the super android.
He just died like last year, I think.
Yeah, he did. July 19th, almost exactly. Well, no, not exactly.
Exactly 1 year ago today.
Yeah.
November 2nd, he died on October 3rd.
I've been hitting the Steely Dan pretty hard today.
Yeah, right. 211. I thought it was 422. It said 666. What's going on? They should make a 666 Steel Reserve, but make it 66.6. You don't want a 6.66. That's pretty low.
Can you even make that much?
I think that's the alcohol content of like Mickey's Big Mouths in Utah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 5.5 for most things.
Yeah.
Nighthawks, Blade Runner. The Hitcher.
Thanks, YouTube. We were. This is Movie Dicks on Stuck on Rewind. We'll see you next week.
Fuck yeah.
Hobo with the shotgun.
Sometimes you gotta smack a woman in the mouth.
God. Warning: the views expressed in this episode do not reflect the views of Stuck on Rewind or YouTube and its affiliates.
Write all letters
and cctristan@gmail.com. Because I just want to see. Finish him.